This incredible woman went from being broke to closing over $103 million in home sales by leveraging open houses. She reveals for the first time ever her entire open house strategy of not only how she gets more people to attend them, but how she converts at scale by getting the people that attend her open houses to then become clients immediately. I've never seen anybody share a strategy like this on open houses, and it works wonders. So if you're looking to close more deals every single month for free, this is the strategy you want to implement immediately. The second thing this incredible woman, Tijana Jones, shares is her blueprint of how she nurtures her clients and the various touch points that allow her to generate multiple referrals that turn into closed deals every single month consistently. These two strategies are mind-blowing. So if you're looking to close more deals this year with proven strategies, this is the strategy you want to follow. Now, two quick things before bringing on Tijana Jones. Number one, I will link her content below so that you can check her out and follow along with how she's been able to build a personal brand, which she shares later in this video. And number two, I will also link her calendar below in case you would like to chat with her about getting her support in order to help you take your business to the next level this year. So without further ado, let's bring on Tijana Jones and allow her to break down these two mind-blowing strategies that will help you exponentially scale your production and close more deals every single month this year. All right, Tijana, so super excited to finally have you on here. It's been incredible
Likewise.
to finally, be partners and see what you've been able to do. I know you've got a very interesting journey. You become recognized as the queen of open houses, and you've done so much in luxury. A lot of topics that are going to be very relevant to what agents are looking for coming into the new year. So before getting started, would love for you to introduce yourself and then we can start diving in.
Hi, everyone. My name is Tijana Jones. I'm a real estate agent here in the Austin area. I have been a 3 times icon agent and counting, hoping for the fourth one here soon. My journey started about 7 years ago in real estate, where I went from zero sphere of influence. I knew no one. I was a stay-at-home mom, so I decided to go into real estate. And as a stay-at-home mom, I unfortunately didn't really have many friends. And I went from having 0 clients to having over $103 million in sales and counting.
That's crazy. That's so cool. And I think, it's been a testament to you being able to find that balance when it comes to time management, which I think we'll get
Yes.
into because there's so many people that struggle with prioritization, how to, balance family, but then also build a wildly successful business like you've been able to. So
Yes.
yeah, really excited to unpack that journey, but let's kind of dive in with, how you started to build momentum when it comes to, raising a family, allocating time for real estate. What did that journey look like in the beginning for you to start to build momentum?
So I was, to be honest with you, very broke at first. I decided to join real estate with about 17,000 in my bank account. I know it sounds a lot, but it isn't when you have a family, taking care of family members like grandmas, grandpas, having a car payment, mortgage payment. So I cashed out the 401k, which ended up being 17,000, not much. But I believed in myself that I could do it. And the reason is I have seen other agents around me and I thought to myself, well, they're not really that great. So if I put effort, I'm pretty sure I can surpass them. So I came down to $2,000 in my bank account and I was going to be broke the very next month when that first closing came in. And then it's been going on ever since. But how I started is I didn't have any money for Zillow leads, Realtor leads, any leads. I just didn't have any money. So I figured, what is free that I can do or almost free? So I decided to start with open houses, as well as I would pass out business cards in front of Walmart over there in North Dakota, where I started. I had Walmart, gas stations. I would pass about 20 to 30 business cards every single day, just introducing myself to people. And hey, here's my card. If you have any real estate needs or if you know someone, please give them my card. Just simple. But the open houses, I held open houses every single weekend for 4 years straight. I didn't take no vacations for 4 years at all. The only 2 weekends I skipped was one was a Saturday and the other one was a Sunday because the Christmas fell on those days. And I figured that would probably not be a good day to have an open house, but I held them straight for 4 years and I still hold them. Just now I don't have quite as, every single weekend, but I do them almost every single weekend. So little by little, the key is consistency. I learned the areas where I was hosting open houses, I learned the contracts, and people found value in me. They would always tell me, "Oh my God, we learned the more in 15 minutes than we did with our agent," because a lot of them had agents already in months. So they would fire their agents and start working with me. So that was kind of nice. But so that's how I started. My main source of leads are open houses. And
That's
then
so cool.
now when I moved to tech from North Dakota to Texas, I was kind of in the same position in a sense I didn't know anyone. So I started doing open houses again. And my first Texas clients were also from open houses. So they do work, but I think consistency is the key because it's not just a 1 day open house game and you're done. Just consistently. And then people seeing you continuously on continuous basis. That's the secret.
Yeah, that's awesome. And,
Yeah.
I would love to kind of dive into how you
Mhm.
started to build relationships with
Mhm.
people that come to open houses because I find, it goes back to that concept that it's not just what you do, but it's how you do it. And there's
Yes.
so many agents that, will host an open house and it's 3 hours, they waste 3 hours, people come and go, they don't get any contact information, and then they blame it on the strategy. They say open
Yes.
houses don't work, but
Yes.
it's how they showed up at the open house.
Yes.
So, what does it look like for you in order to engage conversation? How are you starting to build
Mhm.
relationships with people at the open houses?
That's great that you asked because I was just holding a presentation for our Wolfpack in Austin, and I was surprised at how many agents came just to hear the same questions. It was really awesome. But so I have the whole protocol that I do for open houses. My open houses start days prior to the actual open house. So I start preparing for it. For example, I have an open house this Saturday. I've already put the advertisements out, not just the MLS and Zillow. I go to specific neighborhood groups on Facebook about 2 to 3 days prior to the open house. If you do it 7 days, it's not really, people forget about it. If you do it a day before, sometimes it doesn't have enough time to reach people. So about 2 to 3 days is that optimal. I post the open house, but I also door knock. I do about 100 invitations per open house. It takes me about 2 hours, 2.5 hours, depending on the neighborhood, but it's my exercise for the day.
Yeah.
So I also do it. So I start working on that open house really prior to the open house even happening. Oftentimes I call them little giveaways. They're about $50 to $100, depending on the open house that I have. I do a raffle at the end of it. That also helps draw people, but it's really just bringing awareness to that open house that really helps. As well as a lot of people thought I was crazy for passing out open house invitations to the neighbors, but I wasn't because what do we know about neighbors? They may know someone that's looking for a home, and really, if we like someone, we want them to live close to us. So I have people that come in and they're like, we got invited by the neighbor across the street or so. So it works. That works. So that's how I prep for them. Then once I'm there, I create a whole experience. I don't just have waters and flyers. No. I have everything is well thought through. From the music, I bring my little boom box. It's like a $30 from Amazon, and I put like nice spa music, just something relaxing. If the house doesn't smell good, I make it smell good. So I have
Mhm.
a portable Aroma 360. It was like $200, but I use it all the time, and I make the home smell nice. When I was really broke, I used to put 2 tablespoons of vanilla extract in the oven and just set it throughout the open house. That would make the house smell like cookies. It was amazing, and it doesn't really cost anything. So I have that. So music is there, nice ambiance is there, the smell is there, and then I always have variety of drinks, cookies. I was gonna do a whole YouTube episode on that, how my spread is. I occupy the entire countertop with my stuff. I have treats, I have favors that I give to people. So right away when they walk in, they see they're not just in any open house, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then one other thing that I do that I don't see many agents do, at least, I guide them through most of it at first. So I don't just say, hey, come on in, take a look around, because Those people typically don't read the MLS. They don't really know all the features, but I know them, if that makes sense. So I point those out. And then at the end of the tour, then I tell them, please feel free to take a look around further, and I'll be here with any questions you may have. So a lot of the times they're just impressed by that. And they always tell me, "Oh, your setup is so different." And we want to work with you. So that usually starts. And
That's
of
so
course,
beautiful.
follow up is the main
Yes.
key. Follow up. I follow up the same day. Now, I don't want to look like I'm stalking them. Really, I would want to follow up at 4:05 if the open house ends at 4, but I wait at least 2 hours. I have dinner and then I follow up with whatever they needed. Even if it's not that house, I send them listings. At the bare minimum, if they didn't really need anything, I just thank him for coming to the open house. So,
That's so cool. And just kind of it reminds me of when I used to do open houses too, because I had these fall scented candles that just felt so warm and cozy, and I would bring
yes,
it to every open house. And
yes,
it goes back to that concept that people won't remember what you said, but they'll remember how you made them feel. And I
yes.
find with homes, it's such an experience where people walk in and
Mhm.
the immediate presence of the home has a major impact on whether they like it or not. And you can
Yes.
control that. And many people
Mhm.
forget that. So I love what you've been able to do with that whole experience and,
Yes.
also mentioning the follow-up. One of
Yes.
the things that I'm curious about is how do you get the contact information? Do you have a sign-up sheet? What does that look like so that you actually can follow up?
That's great question. So at very first, I used to do what other agents did, that's have a sign up sheet. But what I found out is that people don't really like that. Like I find that there's some resistance there. They feel like,
Yeah.
oh, well, you want me to sign up? We don't even know you. Like, are you gonna spam us? So I feel like there's not that trust there right at the beginning with new people. So I don't have any sign up sheet. But what I do have is I have a Google sheet that I enter for a giveaway.
Hmm.
Everyone likes free stuff. I would say 9 out of 10 people that walk through my door are gonna sign up for a free giveaway. And if they forget about it, I said, "Did you sign up for a giveaway?" And then they put their information. So I use the Google sheet, but I also ask him at the end before they go out, before they exit. I ask him, "Is there anything that I may email you? Any information about this home, about any particular home?" I just start that conversation, and if they want to work with me, they're gonna give me their information. And to be honest with you, that's what I want to do anyway. I want to follow up and work with people that express interest in me. If someone didn't, then it probably is, even if you follow up, it's probably not going to lead to anything. So I use two things: that giveaway Google form, and I ask him, can I send him anything? So oftentimes it's actually not even about that particular house. They just send me, oh, well, what about this or that? Or I always have a month ahead of time, I have events in Austin. I make it branded with my name, and I tell them, would you like a digital copy of that as well? And oftentimes they're like, yes, we would love for you to send it to us. So that's how I start that contact and follow up.
That's
But
awesome.
my open houses, at the minimum, I'm averaging about 17 to 20 people, adults. I don't count kids, per the open house. So that's my average. I've had zero. I also had 128 people walk through the door in 2 hours. So, but
Wow.
average is about 17 to 20. And that's actually really great average. Most people have like 0 to 2. So, but I think
Yeah.
it's everything. It's the prep work, it's the marketing, it's the door knocking, and just I have signage everywhere. So that all helps and adds up.
Yeah, for sure. And I
Mhm.
think it's, very safe to say, and I know that we'll unpack some of the things you do for your client experiences later on, but you take a very selfless approach, a very value-driven
Yes.
approach. I think, going back to the sign-up sheet, I see the
Mhm.
same thing is that it always creates resistance because it's selfish. It's
Yes.
okay, this
Yes.
is for the agent. It's not for me.
Yes.
I don't get benefit. But the fact that you create this experience, you make people feel
Mhm.
like home and so
Yes.
welcome, invited, that
Yes.
really breaks down people's barriers and makes them feel appreciated by being there, you know what I mean?
Exactly. And they don't have, by the time I ask them for the contact info, they're relaxed, they trust me.
Yeah.
We start building that rapport with each other, and I don't have any issues with that. Versus with that sheet. I can tell you, when I used to use the sheet, most people would not sign up. Like
Yeah.
most people would. And I'm like, I'm not using that no more. So I know
Yeah.
it's what most people use, but I find that it's not working. So I'm not gonna use it.
Agreed, agreed, and when everybody's doing something, usually it doesn't work anymore, so
That's right. That's right.
You know, the last question that I have about open houses, and I'm really curious to get your response on this,
Mhm.
is selection. Because I know some
Yeah,
people select price points,
yeah.
regions, days on market. What are you doing to strategically select an open house?
So I actually had different approaches when I was in North Dakota versus here because North Dakota had a smaller, the size of my previous town was like the size of a section in Austin, if that makes sense, because Austin is so big. But what I do here is I focus on where I live first and foremost, but not just that community. I focus on North Austin. And the reason I found out that that works is at first I try different areas. But I think, and I'm convinced that this works, when people start seeing you in the same area over and over again, even if you're not their agent. I've had people say, "Oh, hi, we see you again," and I'm like, "I'm here, and you're gonna see me next week too."
Yeah.
That makes sense. So that works. People continuously seeing you in one area. I do find that usually where you live, you're gonna know it the most. So that's what I focus. But the price points, yes, I did back test this in North Dakota. I think that the price point that you kind of want to be around is what you should be focused on. Of course, if it's my own listing, it doesn't matter what price point it is, I'm going to do it. But here in Austin, for example, I did found and I did do uber luxury open houses, 3.5 million and up. Those I don't think work really well because if you're in that price point, you already have an agent, almost guaranteed. And you just don't get enough, you just don't get much visitation. I find at least here in Austin, majority of the best open houses are between 500,000 to about 1.5 million, that window. And that's where I stay at. So I would say in North Dakota, it was a different price point. I would say whatever that mid to higher price point is, that's where I focus, but not super high because those I don't think work as well
Yeah,
for
I
the open
completely
houses
agree.
at least. For the,
Yeah, I saw the same thing. You know, so many people have this fantasy of their gateway to breaking into luxury is just
yes,
doing open houses at $5 million
yes,
mansions, but we even have another guy in our group, and he was doing that, and then he transitioned to that average price point,
yes,
and he 10x his production that year just by
yes.
serving the people with higher turnovers, more demand, more desire.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. So that's what I do, but I wanted to point something out. I was recently I met an agent here in Austin and she said I did 100 open houses in 100 days. Too, I immediately got upset because I'm like I've been doing this for 7 years and I never thought about that. I'm like, "Please." So I challenged, no one challenged me. I just created this challenge in my own head. That same second, I'm like I'm going to do 102 open houses in 100 days. So starting January 3rd, I'm going to start that, but I'm going to track it. I want to track everything from visitation to how many clients I get from those particular 100 days. So I think it's going to be an interesting study. I think
I
it's going to
love
be an
that.
interesting study. I was actually just talking recently to Sue and Kim about it, and I was telling him I'm going to do that and how we're going to track it and such. So it's going to be really, I think it's going to be interesting to see 102 open houses in 100 days. So,
Yes, we gotta win. I love
yes.
that. Well, that goes to a really interesting concept that I think many people overlook, and it's such a testament to your character and how strong of a woman you are. So many people will start with open houses, for example, and then they'll see success and then they stop and they'll go do
Yes.
something else. And
Yes.
oftentimes people break the momentum of what got them to somewhere because it might not be the sexiest strategy or the
Yes.
most elegant strategy. And they want to do the posts or the ads or the this or the that. But, you've not only continued to be consistent, but now you're at a place where you've done over 100 million in volume and you're doubling down on it in a ridiculous capacity. So, what's kind of your mindset around staying so consistent with the basics? Because I find that's a component to every successful agent I've ever seen.
Because no one else will do it.
Yeah.
So it's just like you said, I know so many agents and everyone exactly what you said. I mean, I can repeat the exact words. They start, they see, they get one or two or three clients and then they stop. But as you know, we are 4 weeks, 6 weeks away from closings all the time, even if we get in the contract today. So I now what I'm doing, I'm expanding, right? I'm starting with YouTube. I did your YouTube Social Academy, and now I have 2 months worth of content. So January 1st, I'm gonna start. I wanted it to be like that so I can, I have stuff to post while I'm working on other videos.
Yeah.
So I'm expanding that way, but I still want to do what's not broken, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's very basic thing. Like you said, it might not be the sexiest. It works as long as you're consistent. So, and the reason why I do it is because other people don't. They do hold open houses, but they're not consistent with it. And just like with anything, just like Sumit has such great YouTube channel and you do and such, but you're so consistent with it. You constantly put up videos. That's just me, but with open houses.
Yeah.
So that's my mindset, really, because not many people want to do it. It's a time commitment. I always get there 40 minutes earlier to set up my ridiculous haul. I have like suitcases full of stuff. One day I'm going to do the whole video. Like, it takes time. It takes time for me to brainstorm. Do I have enough materials? Because I don't just bring water. I bring champagne. I bring mimosas. I bring all kinds of stuff. So, but not many people are willing to put in the work. So that's where
Yeah.
I step
Well,
in.
if you go the extra mile, it's never crowded, right? And
Yes,
that's
that's
where
right. That's right.
it's so cool. And I think that's a perfect transition
Mhm.
into what you do with your clients, because we kind of talked about how you get clients with open houses, but you also don't just stop there. You continue to do incredible things and special touches for the
Yes,
clients that you have. And
that's right.
that's where I think a lot of people drop the ball when it comes to scaling a business to your
Mhm.
capacity is they're only focusing on getting new business. They
Yes,
drop the ball on servicing business to get repeat and referrals. So
exactly.
once somebody is your client, what are some of the special things you do along the journey to make them feel special?
So many things. I like to think my clients are the most spoiled, but I want them to be that way. So from the beginning, this is one of my buyer's boxes. It has a nice red ribbon. And when you open this, it has not only the buyer's guide, I counted, it has over 50 Austin guides and events and all of this, everything that someone that's in Austin wants to know about Austin. So that's the first thing. They always get this. As soon as they sign either a listing or a buyer's rep agreement, it doesn't matter. Uh, in 2 days, they're gonna get. We have Tiff's Treats. It's like a gourmet warm cookie company here. They're gonna get that at their front door. Just me being excited to work with them. It's always a hit. It's always a
Yeah.
hit. Now, if they're my seller, they're gonna get that, and then they're also going to get a package with labels, Sharpie, just something that's going to be useful for them as we move forward. So that's first. I'm also available. All of my clients know that I'm available 24/7 for them. I do know sometimes I got critiques from other colleagues as, you need to block out family time. I understand, but this is what I'm known for. They know that they're going to reach me no matter when they call me. So I've sometimes had clients reach me at 3 a.m., albeit only 2 times. Thankfully, most are asleep at that time, but they know if they need me, I'm there. And that's actually how I got a lot of business too, is people would tell me my agent is not picking up the phone. Like, I can't reach them. I'm like, okay, that's fine, but you can reach me. So that then a flawless communication. I update them. Sometimes we don't have updates every single day. When we're going through the lending process, sometimes it's quiet for a week or two, but I still touch base. I tell them, hey, we don't really have much this week, but I just want you to know I'm keeping an eye on everything. I will let you know if so, just that touch point means so much to the clients, even if they're buying, such as, hey, look, there's no new listings this week that came in your search criteria, but rest assured I'm keeping an eye on them. They know you got them, if that makes sense. Then for closing gifts, that's one thing I did right, I think, from the beginning. Even when I didn't have any money, I found out that the most agents are really stingy when it comes to closing gifts.
Oh yeah.
I even once saw an agent with my own eyes. I was waiting at a title company. She came with red Solo cups and like a Walmart champagne, but it doesn't matter. She brought the red Solo cups. Like, I was mortified. My closing gifts, even from the very beginning, I became known for them actually. I used to buy my ladies about 4 to 5 foot floral arrangement. It was $500. I would show up looking ridiculous. I mean, it would be bigger than me. I'm 5'4". I would be holding it like this, barely walking through the door, but they loved it. It was the like wow factor for them, right? So I started marketing like that, and I would have people that would ask me, can we get one of your arrangements if we close with you? So that became popular. Now here in Austin, because it's so large, I can't physically transport such a thing. So now I give them every single one of my clients gets an Hermes item as well as Tiffany's item. Yes, those things do matter if that makes sense. And then, for example, if it's a buyer that's closing on a home, I also get them like a nice customized book that they can keep all of their receipts, home upgrades that they make throughout the year. It helps them, plus also hopefully me when they call me to sell it. So we have all of the upgrades, everything is there. So that's what I do for them. But it doesn't also stop there. I keep touch with my clients for their birthdays, for their anniversaries. I know what's their favorite color. I know if they have a pet. I know if they have kids. So I make sure to always keep in touch with them. Now, I do have to say, once you have so many clients, it does get more difficult. You have to have like a system in place of how you're going to keep track of the birthdays. So, spreadsheets and so on and so on. But I make sure every single client of mine gets a Christmas gift, and I also make it a point to give them a gift quarterly. Not quite as large of a gift as for Christmas, but just something to keep myself on top of their mind as well. That's how I get a lot of repeat business too.
That's so crazy. And even just the concept, because when you talked about agents being stingy, I remember I used
Yes.
to have a pretty significant budget even when I was broke from every single deal, and I just allocated a certain percentage of the commission to every single,
Yeah.
client experience. And so many people get a commission and they're almost counting what they're
Yes.
going to be able to get for themselves, what they're going
Mhm.
to be able to buy for themselves.
Yes.
And when you look at somebody like you, so many people are going to hear, wow, that's like so much money. But that's
Yes.
also why you have the business that you have, because people will never forget that experience, and it pays dividends in the long run. It's an investment back into your business instead of
Mhm.
just, some people will look at it as a big one-time expense, but it's
Mhm.
not. That's the investment into the future relationship of retaining
Exactly.
that client for life.
Exactly. That's exactly what you said. Something I wanted to point out is I not always have, expensive homes. There were homes in North Dakota, there were mobile homes, there were $30,000 homes that I sold. And once I got the commission, my flowers were literally more than the commission I got, but they still got the same flowers. Everyone knew that they're gonna get that client experience. It doesn't matter if it's a $38,000 home, 380, 3 million. It doesn't matter. They all knew it, and I think that's what really helped me too. But just like you said, people who were shocked. I would spend between $40,000 to $60,000 a year in gifts. They were like, "Oh my god, like you're crazy." They would tell me that. But the floral shop and the shops around here, they love me. They say I'm one of their best customers. But
Of course.
well, like you said, even in North Dakota, I was making over 600,000 a year, and and the price point there was much lower than here. But 60,000 versus how much I get, that 60,000 is helping me get to that point. But people
Yeah.
don't look at it that way. Like you said, they have a really narrow and short-sighted view, when in reality those gifts do help so much. I also have, I mean, I pay for my clients. If they give me a referral, yes, they're gonna get a gift. Not
Yeah.
just, hey, thank you for the referral. So it's everything.
For sure. And, you said a really important statement there as well, which is something that I was very, bullish on, is people should get the same experience with you
Mhm.
regardless of the price point. I
Yes.
see this even with marketing homes. People will say, okay, I'm going to do this incredible, video. I'm going to hire a local team. And if it's over $1 million, they're going to get this unreal
Yes.
experience. If it's,
Yes.
between 500 and a million, I might do the video myself. And if it's below 500, they're
Yes.
just going to get photos. And you wonder why
Yes.
people are never able to break into that next stage of
Yes.
their business, because they're looking at clients based on the income that they receive
Yes.
versus what that could turn into long term based on the relationship that you can build.
Exactly. I have to tell you, one of my best referral partners ever that I've ever had so far in 7 years, her home was $80,000. It was probably one of my lowest homes that I have sold. The best. referral partner. I have, well, I call them partners, right? They're my clients, but and friends. I have gotten at least 30 referrals from her. She
Wow.
was that impressed with my service, and continuously throughout the year, I kept in touch. Christmas gifts, quarterly gifts, everything. I got over 30 referrals. Only an $80,000 home. So just like
And
you said,
that's, multiple six figures in commission for you
yes,
based on one person that most people
yes,
would have turned a blind eye to or
that's
not put in half the effort.
yes, exactly. So yes, I treat every single client, no matter the price point, the same. They all get the 10-star experience, but I want them to
Yes.
feel like that. So
Oh, I love it. That's so cool. And on the note of price points, I think that's another topic that people are very curious about because you have worked with the 38 to $80,000, but you've
yes,
also worked in the luxury space and you
yeah.
have a wealth of experience in luxury. What did it take for you to start to break into that higher price point space?
The right group, which is the Wolfpack Group. That's what it, and of course consistency. But
Yeah.
I have an interesting story. So when I in North Dakota, price point is way different than here. It's just what
Yeah.
it is, right? So I wanted to be in that luxury market. When I was looking to move here to Texas, I was with EXP North Dakota, but I thought, I don't know why. I mean, right now looking back, I was silly, but I thought that I must be a part of a luxury brokerage if I wanted to sell luxury. So I made a not so wise decision to leave EXP and join Sotheby's. Sotheby's is locally the premier luxury brokerage firm in Austin, and actually they're for majority of the world they're viewed as the premier luxury brokerage. And I was told that people call Sotheby's because Sotheby's is Sotheby's. We don't have to advertise, because you don't advertise for Ferrari. That's one of their pitches.
Yeah.
People just call you. So I came here. I lost all of my rev share, everything from North Dakota. But I'm like, it's fine. It's fine. Everything is going to be fine because I'm going to start right away selling luxury homes. 1 month goes by, 2 months, 6 months. There is no help from luxury. As a matter of fact, I'm not even getting any leads, no nothing. So I realized that that's absolutely not the case. What's going to break you into the luxury market is still consistency, you as a person, knowing the areas, starting to hang out with people and agents that are in that space that are open to actually helping you. And that's the thing. I have never seen the level of cooperation from any group like I did with Wolfpack Group. So that's actually what helped me break into the luxury space, hanging around with my people, if that makes sense, with
Yeah.
several agents that are already in that luxury space. Also asking, hey, how can I help you? If you want to co-list with me, I'm your person. If you're too busy to do anything, I will do it for you. It's fine. So that's what helped me break into it. Really, it's being around the right people and the right group, but not the ones that you would originally think so, such as a Sotheby's brokerage.
Yeah, and I see that misconception all the time of people
Yes.
thinking that the brokerage brand is gonna be the saving grace, so they
No.
join here or there, and
Mhm.
then, they don't put the effort in, but, you're a
Yes.
husler, you're a natural workhorse, and you've just
Yes.
done so well for yourself, and when you blend that with the right ecosystem, the right people that actually wanna help you win,
Yes.
you become unstoppable, which you have,
Yes.
and, I also think, and this is just a really important message for people, the fact that you've poured into these lower price point clients, what I've found too is you never know who they know. My cheapest deal was $150,000 little tiny condo, and his family ended up being wealthy and they
Mhm.
ended up being $1 million client. And if I didn't treat him the same way I treat all of my $1 million clients, I don't think I would have got the referral to his parents. So
Absolutely.
it's so important to focus on, you know, these long-term relationships instead of the immediate transaction because I find that in this space right now where most people didn't have the 2024 they were expecting. So going into 2025, funds might not be as abundant as they would like, and they start putting commission ahead of relationships. And that's where they
Mhm.
start to, burn these opportunities because they're so anxious to get that next deal versus saying,
Mhm.
hey, I'm going to maybe reduce my expenses a little bit because this relationship long term is worth way more than getting that immediate deal.
Mhm. Exactly right. Exactly what you said. I treat, even when I talk to people, I treat everyone, whether it's an employee at Target, at Tesla, it doesn't matter. I treat them the same, warm smile. Do what I say, I mean it. When I say I'm going to show up, I show up. It doesn't matter. I do what I'm supposed to do. I'm always reliable. They know that they can rely on me. And like you said, it doesn't matter the price point. For example, I have an upcoming lease. The lease is about $2,500 a month. It's really not much, but they're still going to get professional photography. They're still going to get everything I would do for a $2 million client, and it's just the lease. But guess what? They actually are going to be buying with me in about 3 to 4 months as well. And they know some people that they want to sell. But I didn't know that at first. At first, it was just started as a lease conversation. I didn't even know they were. They didn't even think that they were going to be selling or buying in a few months at first. So just like you said, just treat everyone like they're the most important client you're gonna have, because you never know who they know. You
Certainly.
never know. You
Oh,
never know.
and you said another really critical thing that I hope people don't overlook, which is the importance of communication. Because when I
Mhm,
was very heavy on the listing side,
mhm.
and a lot of the listings that I ended up working with, didn't sell with previous agents. And the first question I would always ask is, what didn't go so well with the past
Yes.
agent? And almost every single time, I would say over 80% of the time, it was not marketing, which I was known for. It was not branding. It was
Mhm,
communication. They didn't communicate. I had no idea what was going on. I felt out of the loop. I felt like I was in the dark. And so
mhm,
it's really important to never forget that, because a lot of people are
mhm,
almost assuming what clients care about and
mhm.
leading them astray, even though what they really care about isn't that difficult. You just have to be so intentional about it. Like you said a really critical piece, which is, even if there's no update, I still have a touch point, because some people will say, nothing's changed. I don't need to do anything. But that's the second that they start to feel like they're in the dark. And that's when you start to lose that relationship.
Exactly, exactly. And it's the same thing for the sellers too. Monday updates or Friday, just find a day. I always tell my colleagues that ask me, find a date that works for you. If it's every Monday, we are providing updates every single Monday. Of course, if an offer comes in, we're going to provide an immediate update or or showings, but have that touch point day that works for you, and
Yeah.
just block that day and go to town with it. I think I'm known for over updating my clients, but you know what? They do like that better than not updating, because I tell them everything what they want to know, need to know, and don't want to know, but I still tell
Yeah.
them. So, but they love it. They love it. They always, when I get my reviews done, really almost every client comments on my communication.
Yeah. Well, I've never seen a client complain about too much communication,
Yes.
and it goes back to, lead follow-up. I see so
Mhm.
many agents that struggle with converting leads because
Mhm.
they're so hesitant of, oh my god, if I follow up too much, maybe it's going to push them away. But then every person I've ever seen that crushes lead conversion says, I'm going to follow up until they either unsubscribe, tell me to get lost, or become a client. Like, it's extremes, but the ones that go all the way to the furthest extreme, they don't lose any opportunities because of that hesitation.
Yes, I like to say I'm gonna follow up until they die. So
Yeah.
that might be a little bit extreme, but that's me. I have followed up with people. My hardest clients, so to speak, when it comes to follow up, was they weren't responding for 4 or 5 months, but I still kept following up. And
Yeah.
then they responded, and then we closed on a home. And the reason I said, how'd you remember me? And because I didn't hear nothing for 5 months. They're like, because you email us all the time. I'm like, oh, perfect.
I
So,
love it.
so yeah, so that's like you said, I'm going to follow up until one of those three happens. Either they tell me no, they unsubscribe, or they die, or not. But,
Yeah.
or they become my client. Yes. So,
That's so beautiful. Well, one of the other things you've done so well is personal branding. I
Mhm.
love your personal brand. You're consistent everywhere. And that's something that people struggle with is being able to find that kind of
Mhm.
authentic identity, if you will, that they can become passionate and excited about, but also recognized for. So you're obviously the queen of pink. For me, I've been able to brand myself around the color purple. Not
Yes.
everybody has a specific color, but
Yes.
what did that look like for you to start to build this very genuine brand that's just entirely authentic to who you are?
So at first, when I started, a lot of people were like, okay, you have to choose navy blue. That's a color that people trust or
Yeah.
something. But, I chose that at first. And I'm like, well, this is just not, I just wasn't even feeling happy marketing in those colors, if that makes sense. And I was trying to figure out what my brand is. And then I started to think, okay, well, what do I like to do? Because I can't pretend like I'm someone I'm not. So, for example, I like fashion. If you see behind me, that's one of my work shelves. I have trophies and I have red bottom shoes. So, and then I have home books. So that's me in a nutshell, right? I love fashion. I love shoes. I collect shoes and I love real estate. So, and I love pink and glitter. So I was the very not norm in North Dakota. Like no one was like me over there. There's a lot of cowboy, oil field worker, country stuff. I despise country, for example. I can't stand the music, but and I was really worried. I'm like, oh my God, people are gonna never use me as an agent because I stand out in all the worst ways, I thought. But actually, people liked that. People liked that I was different and I wasn't afraid to show, hey, I love pink. I like red bottom shoes, but I'm really great at what I do. So I'm like, okay, yeah, this might work. So I started rolling with that and I like the color gold. So for my YouTube, I started to do some gold stuff. So, because for me, gold symbolizes luxury, at least in my mind. So I'm incorporating that color. But just, I think being authentic to who someone is. If you like pink, that's fine. If you like blue, that's fine too. Just build around what you love and then you're never going to have to pretend. And I find that people really can tell real quick if someone is pretending or not, or if you're being your genuine self.
Yeah,
So
100%. And that's, I love that so much about you because even just having this conversation, I can notice two things very evidently, how authentic and genuine you are, but also how much fun you have with this. And I think
yes.
those two go hand in hand. When you're
Mhm.
trying to build a brand around something that's not genuinely you, you're going to struggle to put out content. You're not going to have
Yes.
fun with it. It's going to be exhausting. You're going to get burnt
Yes.
out. Why do that? And when you look at any strong personal brand, there's always some level of polarity to it where
Mhm.
there's a subset of people that really don't resonate with it, but there's this huge group of people over here that absolutely adore it, and those become your raving fans. And you
Yes.
don't, so many people are trying to be fence riders that just appease to every person,
Yes.
but then you fall on deaf ears because nobody knows what you stand for, and you end up
Mhm.
blending in with everybody else.
Mhm. Exactly. And they don't really like that either. I find that they don't in the long term. But like for example, some of that's one of the things that I have struggled really in Sotheby's. They have certain brand guidelines, which all brokerages do, but I felt so constricted with the guidelines that I was given, such as I
Mm.
can't do, like I can't do certain colors. My business cards have to be only one way, and I don't want them to be that way, but that's the only way I can have them. So I was feeling like I was in a cage. So when I went back to EXP, I'm like, oh my God, I can just breathe now. I immediately got everything redone to what I wanted to be and what reflects me because I felt like I wasn't being able to showcase who I was with some of the other brokerages. Unlike with EXP.
That actually leads into the perfect kind of thing that we always like to wrap up with, and you talked about coming back to EXP, and
Mhm.
that's always something that people are curious about, and a
Mhm.
lot of times the assumption is that all groups are created equal and that
Mhm.
everything is the same, but I always like to get an understanding as somebody that's so successful and independent and
Mhm.
driven and self-motivated as you, why did you decide to come, back to EXP, but also why did you specifically decide to choose the Wolf Pack?
There's several reasons, but I'll tell you the main ones. So after several months in Sotheby's, really the straw that kind of broke everything was Sotheby's decided as a brokerage to put out a 495, so almost $500 fee to every single client. It doesn't matter if it's a buyer or a seller, like a brokerage fee. I thought to myself, how am I going to tell my seller, hey, the fee for my services is XYZ. But on top of that, you're not done. Now you
Yeah.
have to pay. Now you have to pay this $500 fee. And I'm like, this is absolutely ridiculous. There's enough fees. There's enough fees. So I contacted Suman because I contacted Suman. I'm like, Suman, do you guys have anything like this at EXP? He's like, no, we don't. I'm like, perfect. We have to talk. So that was the first thing. But also, second thing is, I have realized I was with Sotheby's for 8 months. I have realized that my clients that I have gained through that time, first I gained them by myself. Second, they had no clue even which brokerage I'm at. They didn't care about it. They cared what I can do for them. They didn't care. They didn't even know. I even back tested it. I said, "Hey, I'm doing some marketing research. Do you know what brokerage I'm with?" They're like, "No, I'm so sorry, we don't. But we love you. It doesn't matter which brokerage you're in." I'm like, "No, no worries. I was just testing something."
Yeah.
And then also I realized, why would I be paying such enormous fees for a brokerage that doesn't even, traditional brokerage, typically they don't give you leads. And then the fourth and most important thing is I noticed that Sumin, as well as the Wolfpack Group in general, is very modern in their marketing approach. I was being held back and not able to do all of those approaches that I wanted to in a different brokerage. So I said, this sounds like a good fit. I met with Sumin, and I'm so happy that I did. And he introduced me to Chris and Christy Mitchell, my sponsors, and we all clicked immediately. It was like we were best of friends for years and years. And then I got access to your social academy. And to be honest with you, I was blown away. Because, for example, I know nothing about YouTube, or at least at that time, I had no clue. Like, I knew where to click to get access it, but I had no idea how to set up nothing. But you had videos that are so easy to follow for someone like me that had absolutely no clue what to do. But that's like that with every single platform. Whatever you need, it's there. And then I was really upset because I was paying Ryan Serhant's coaching, which is very popular coaching. I was paying thousands of dollars for that. And that cannot even hold a candle, I have to say, to your academy, because yours is so detailed. Everything is, you can watch and replay it if you cannot understand something. Everything is step by step. So I'm like, yes, this is the right fit. And I'm so excited. We're gaining momentum as a group as well, because I love the Wolfpack mentality. As soon as we spoke, and wolves don't hunt alone, they hunt in packs. Because I think that that's very important to know and distinguish. And I will just quickly regress. In North Dakota, I was an agent by myself. But there was a point when I switched to EXP that I approached my biggest competitor at that time. And I asked her, "Hey, do you want to do some events together? Do you want to co host some stuff together? Help, maybe we'll even get listings or buyers together." Long story short, she was my biggest competitor. We joined forces. Her and I dominated that market. We dominated together. And that's when I realized that, yes, I'm good by myself, but when I join forces with someone of equal capacity, that's when we're unstoppable. Because realistically, we just cannot do everything by ourselves. We just can't.
Yeah.
And it's always great to have that second, third, fourth brain put together. So that's really what I love about the Wolfpack Group. And to be honest with you, I have been a part of Remax. I have been a part of EXP, albeit in North Dakota. I've been a part of Sotheby's. I knew many different teams in Sotheby's. I have never seen a team quite like Wolfpack, where everyone is so open to collaboration. And a lot of times you'll see brokerages say, "Oh, we're here to support you," but they don't actually support you. But the Wolfpack actually supports you. They want to succeed with you. So that's really the main reason why I returned. And I'm technically, it all worked out the way it should be, because if I stayed with EXP, I probably wouldn't have met people here in the Wolfpack. It all worked out. But
Yeah.
I'm so happy to be back with EXP and Wolfpack in particular. It's the best thing to have ever happened to me, and I plan to stay here forever. Like,
It's
people don't know that I was, because of course we don't show the struggles publicly,
yeah.
but I was actually really concerned for my house, like literally for my house and mortgage. Even though there's so much savings you can actually burn through before it all disappears, because I felt like I wasn't supported. I didn't have those people that are like-minded to turn to when I came here. And I felt like the strategies that they exist in other brokerages are kind of dinosaur age, if that makes sense. They're not modern ones that we can utilize, and that's not the case with the Wolfpack Group. So
Yeah, well,
they
it's such a
literally
blessing.
rejuvenated everything.
I love that. It's such a blessing to have you in the group, and I think that concept that you talk about, about being stronger in numbers, and that there is strength in numbers. It's like that equation of when you put two powerful people together, multiple. It's
Mhm.
not 1 + 1 = 2. It's 1 + 1 = 3, and you're so much stronger when you build momentum together, and that
Yes.
leads to the most important question of this entire conversation is what can people expect when partnering with you? Because I know that you deeply care. You've got a servant's heart and you love helping other people. And there's going to be people that, want to bolt onto the rocket ship you've created and get your help taking their business to the next level.
Yes. They can expect what I wish I had when I first joined real estate in general. That one-on-one attention, telling them, being I'm bluntly honest. This works, this doesn't work, but you should try for yourself. But giving them all those strategies, now after 7 years, I've closed on over almost 400 homes. Almost every single scenario that could happen to me, even some unbelievable ones, they have happened to me. Some even multiple times. Heck, I almost even sold a stolen trailer, which I didn't even know it was possible. But I have experience with that, so I can, really almost everything they need, I know how to handle. And I think that's very important to have someone that has been through. It's not just new to it; they have been through quite a bit. They can talk from multiple angles, whether it's $80,000 home, whether it's luxury homes. Not everyone wants to be in luxury, whether it's mid-grade point. I can access all of those varieties because I've lived through them and been through them all. And of course, open houses. No one has that training like me. But I'm
Yeah.
just being a little. I'm just. I'm just messing. But yes, I'm here to help. I work 24/7, but my family expects that, so it's all good. It's all good. And I'm also a big proponent on group stuff, doing stuff in group. I don't mind helping. I've had some agents in North Dakota where they needed me to come with them to a listing appointment to secure the deal. I was there. There's no problem. I'm there to help in any way I can. But speaking of the groups, there's four of us that have joined here locally, and we went after some big name builders and we got those listings. And the only reason why we got them is having four people is unstoppable. Four great agents, if that makes sense. Who can refuse that?
Yeah,
Who
exactly.
can refuse? I mean,
No.
even if I was a builder, I'd be like, oh, I not only get you, but I get all of you, like
Yeah.
all of you superstars. It's yes. So there is definitely power in numbers.
I love that. Well, I'm excited because I told Suman that we'll be doing an event down there end of
Yes.
Q1 of this year. So coming up. So, I'm just so excited. And again, so appreciative of you sharing your blueprint, being so open, honest, transparent. And, again, truly grateful for you being a part of the family and everything that you do to lead by example.
Well, we're so grateful for you first and foremost, and for everything you do. And you're such a role model for all of us, for me, Suman, really everyone. And we just cannot wait to meet you. There was an announcement at our Christmas party that you're going to be coming. Oh my goodness, everything erupted in cheers. Yes, we're definitely rolling out the red carpet for sure. So
I can't wait. Well, again, so grateful. Again, anybody that's listening, I'm going to link all of Tiana's incredible content below. You want to check it out because when we start seeing this YouTube channel rocking, I know
yes,
there's going to be no stopping it. So thank you
yes.
again, Tiana.
No, thank you so much, Mike, and thank you so much for such an incredible training. I can't wait to implement it. So in about 6 months of time, I'm gonna share with you all of my updates because I'm sticking to everything you said. So
You heard it here. So we're going to keep
yeah.
you accountable. And again, make sure you guys go check it out and book your conversation so we can help you take your business to the next level.